Today's lesson is check nature locations to make sure they aren't designated as parks or federal land of some kind. So first story. 4 friends and I were assigned a school project in history class when we were in high school. I'd written my paper on ninjas, one of my other friends had written theirs on samurai, and so we made a video, shot on tape, because it was 2009, called Ninja vs. Samurai for our project, and we came up with the name ATAEC Corporations for the credits of the film, which eventually we'd changed to ATAEC Studios to kind of better reflect the vision of what we wanted the company to be. I suggested that we shoot Ninja vs. Samurai in a creek bed behind the neighborhood where my dad and I used to go on creek walks in the wintertime when there was water running down it. Little did I know we were shooting in a tributary of the Salinas River, which would become part of a national park called the Fort Ord National Monument. And as of May 26, 2000, according to Public Law 106206, it's actually illegal to film a movie in a national park or on any federally managed land without a permit. Now, we didn't get in trouble for this because 1, we were minors, 2, this wasn't for profit, and 3, Fort Ord land wasn't actually deemed a national park until April 20th of 2012, and we shot this all the way back in March of 2009. But it's still kind of fun to say that the first ever ATAEC Studios movie was shot in the Fort Ord National Monument National Park. However, as a word of the wise, if you are trying to film out in nature because you think it's going to be easier than filming in the city, make sure you aren't in a city, state, or federal park or other federal land of some kind, and you'll avoid some major production headaches with park staff down the road. I believe this also applies to photo shoots and even outdoor weddings and other parties, so check your local laws before you schedule important events. Fun fact number 1. Fort Ord was the military fort at which my grandfather, Robert Hinwood, was stationed during part of World War II. He was living there before he was deployed to Japan. He actually ended up on one of the first planes to drop troops off in Nagasaki about a week after the atomic bomb was dropped there. Almost everyone he was with that day ended up getting bone marrow cancer from the radiation they were exposed to, including my grandfather himself. Luckily, we care a lot more about radiation and how it affects people now than we did back then. My grandfather was actually offered a Purple Heart when he was 19 years old because he had his foot crushed during a rapid transit of munitions, but he turned it down because he said it wasn't an honorable enough reason to receive it. However, if he had, he would have been in priority group 3 at the VA and gotten far better treatment for the cancer he developed because of his time served. So in hindsight, he probably wished he had accepted it, but when it was offered to him, he was a teenager who had no idea that his military service would give him cancer. Word of the wise, always accept a Purple Heart. You might not have gotten it for what you expected to, but it will save you so much heartache later on. You never know the complications you'll get from the time that you spent in the military could be. Fun fact number 2. The area around Fort Ord is important to my family for a couple of reasons. The wild land in what's now Fort Ord National Park is where I went on one of my rites of passage. Hanbleche Api, or Anblechea, excuse my accent for those of you who speak Lakota. My family was separated from the Lakota Oyate, all of the Ochedi Shakoan, a long time ago due to forced boarding schools. So I was not born a member of the tribe the way my ancestors were, and I probably didn't go through what's done today. But I did go through what my family remembered of the way it was back when we were still a part of the tribe. That being said, I was probably one of the last people to go through a rite of passage on that land, considering it was deemed a national park about 5 years later. I was able to find absolute solitude in the wilderness back there in 2007, and I was scared to go that far in on my own, mainly due to mountain lions and rattlesnakes, but, as a 13-year-old, also the thought of coyotes, bobcats, black widow spiders, or even another human scared me as well. However, today there's a lot of bike trails and paved roads with foot traffic, so I don't know if it would still be the best place for that kind of rite of passage anymore. Anyway, that's my lesson story and fun facts for the day. I tried to include info for friends, filmmakers, history buffs, Lakota speakers, nature enthusiasts, and more. So hopefully you learned something along the way.